Okay, hello, everybody. This is Janine, and just want to kind of talk a little bit about some current things that are actually happening out there. So, Nancy Pelosi, a longtime Democrat, bye-bye. See you later. Powerhouse from California, and when we talk about power, in it's in a negative sense. I'll just go there. She's 85 years old. She announced today that she won't be seeking a re-election in 2026. So basically, this for 4 decades she's been around, and we've seen what she has done in her own state with her son-in-law that is a governor there, the influential figure that they say that she is, and influential. So you can have power in a good way, you can have power in a negative way. And we have all seen, well, basically, my feelings are hail, hail, or no, not that one. The witch is dead. The witch is dead, right? So, what does that mean? Is when you remove an energy, and a dark energy like that, a negative energy that wasn't working for the people, of the people, went against our Constitution, it means a lot of things. It just means that all of our wishes, for one, are all fulfilled. Woo, to celebrate that. But then at the same time that announcement is being made in New York, there's a mayor that's being brought in, and some of you might say it's just he's an actor. He's basically playing a role so the people will wake up. But I'm going to show you a few videos about that, and so we're just take a look at basically all the geriatrics that are actually left, right? And so we're going to take a look at Chuck Schumer. He's 75. Pelosi is 85. The Senate majority leaders from New York have shown signs of retiring and actively using other Democrats to stick around for the 2026 midterm. So there's a plan there. There's something in place, just like they were never going to consider opening up the government until they had that election in New Jersey, Vermont, and I think New York also, right? There's 3 of them that were going on. They've always been blue states. Let them stay blue. That's fine. But the speculation about this about the exit, and it's basically it's official right now. And there's a comment out there by Trump who's saying good riddance. She did nothing for him. She's attacked him the whole time that he has been in here, so on and so forth. But that's a lot of the politics that we have here. But our wishes are fulfilled. A lot of you were saying, well, I already knew about all this. She's been gone for a while, and there's been an actor in there. And so be it. I can't say one way or another. I don't have any receipts on that, but it sure the heck doesn't look like her. So I'll just leave it at that. All right. So let's see who we have out there. I want to say hello to Colleen is out there. Hello, Colleen. I'm just scroll a little bit over here. And let's see. We have Cheryl's in the house. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you. And we have Buck is in the house. Hey, Buck, how are you doing? So I pulled a few cards here, and I just wanted to talk to you about it. So we're going, right now we have Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House right now. Pelosi was from before, but he seems to be doing okay if you are a Republican and you're following that party. And he's sticking to his guns for the government shutdown. So much speculation about the government shutdowns. And some of the things that I'm hearing, I don't know if they're fake, true, or what have you, but there's just a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes. How much power does the president of the United States still have while the government is shut down? And I think that's what we're going to be seeing here. And let's see what else we have here. So who else is the 70 plus Senate retirements? We got Mitch McConnell out there. They just showed him also yesterday. So, they're basically putting these pieces together for you guys to kind of understand, what is going on. The former Senate GOP leader, and they're calling him the former Senate GOP leader. He announced his exit earlier this year, ending with a tenure of shrewd power plays and controversies. These are all the ones who've gotten their hands dirty right now. If you're not a podcaster, big podcaster as I am, spend a lot of my time listening to some of the more bigger influential channels just to be able to see what it is that they're trying to tell us and read between the lines. Tucker Carlson came out I think one with 2 days ago with a guy by the name of Paul Duns, I believe if that his name is. He's going to be running. He wants to run up against Lindsay, okay, in South Carolina. Oh my God, Buck, you better get in there and vote. That's all I could say. So they're basically laying everything out on the table, letting you know how dirty that these people are. So we got Mitch McConnell, then we got Dick Durbin out of Illinois, and I've known about this Dick Durbin. Durbin, he's been there 4 decades. That's all I heard growing up is Dick Durbin and how powerful that he was. He's 80 years old. I'm pretty sure that he is on his way out. It doesn't even look like or sound like him anymore. Who else do we have out there? So that's Illinois, and I mentioned Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. So we have Jean Sherahan, another Democrat out of New Hampshire, 78 years old. Trailblazing senator, family ties, family time as a factor in her decision. So she's basically saying, I gotta pay attention to my family. Well, we need term limits. This is where I'm kind of going in here, and I know that a lot of you talked about it. Tommy Tuberville, Coach Tommy Tuberville. So he's 70 years old. He's actually the former coach. He is jumping to the Alabama governor race instead of seeking another Senate term. Hats off to you. You know, you've got my vote. I've liked him. I've been following him all along. He says everything that I say. So this is where we're kind of going with this here. What about the House retirements? Now there's all the 70 pluses is what I'm focusing on. So we already said Nancy Pelosi, Gerald Nadler, right? The guy that wears his pants up to his neck. Oh my God. He's out of New York. He's stepping down. And there's basically a whole generation of turnovers that we've got going on here. Danny Davis out of Illinois. Yeah, he pushed for the civil rights and the urban issues for decades. He was part of the Jesse Jackson, if you guys, I think is it Jesse Jackson? Yeah, the Jacksons, and out of Illinois. And then there's another Illinois. So this is good to see that Illinois is hopefully going to get some good people in there. That just put the energy out for that. And let's see who else we have out there. There's another one, Jan Chaskowski, Illinois, again, like I said, 81 years old. 81. Holy macaroni. Yeah, and we're seeing them with walkers and wheelchairs and canes. Oh my God. So term limits, somebody who's working on that, let me know. Let's see who else we have out there. Colleen, hey Colleen, she knows all these names that I'm mentioning. I'm actually going to put her thing up here on the screen. Dirty, rotten scoundrels, all from Illinois, and I know it well. And who else we have out there? Buckshot. Buckshot says Graham needs to get to go. Yeah, he doesn't have he doesn't have anybody's vote. If you didn't see Tucker and the guy who wants to run against him, and you know, basically he's a warmonger. Basically fought against Trump. He is definitely a rhino. He's sweet to your face and a psychopath behind the scenes, and that's what they talked about. That's not my words. And if you can catch some of the short clips that are out there because they're floating all over YouTube, I actually sat there and listened to somebody that basically they all sound good, that they want to run. They all bring up their tradition, their heart, but let's just hope that that things go a little bit better for the newer people that are coming in, because I think basically they talk about that they turn you, that they get you in there and they turn you. It's a big political game, and I would have to say that Lindsay is probably one of the most powerful. He's for war, and they also talk about how he speaks. Listen to next time you hear him. He talks about J6. You had guns. Why didn't you shoot them? Who is he wanting them to shoot? The American people that were there? He was telling the FBI people, you had guns. Why didn't you shoot them? And the American people were only there for one reason. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot more of that out there. I won't go into too much of it. Let's see here. The Penguin. They call him the Penguin. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, Buck, you're right. I should have this on my other screen, but yeah, he's huge. And they did talk about his sexuality. not that his sexuality matters, but I think it's so bad as it's listed on the screen here that it had to be said on that show last night, right? Buckshot is saying the little ones, and I can agree with him on that. So that's what I kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about. I just wanted to know, when you remove these energies, these dark energies, and then at the same time, when we're removing these energies, we're actually getting in a little bit of this movie that's being played out. So um it's there's all kinds of memes out there. People are putting these short clip videos where the Statue of Liberty is uprooting out of the water and headed towards Florida. People in every state is saying we're closed, we're closed. I talked about this the last time I was on with I'm not sure who it was, Arnie. Yeah, that's who it was. And so these are the things that we're kind of seeing out there. But when you remove these energies, it's a clearing. Boy, I would love to be able to go into Washington D.C. and just be able to do Native American true cleansing of that state, because it is so needed. But then again, you've got the New York guy that came out. They The young kids, and it's the young kids, it's the generation. So we got 5 generations that are alive right now. When I was born, it was one, just one, and it was all the boomers. So now we have 5 of them. So what does that mean? It means that there's a level of consciousness that has changed and shifted over time. Baby boomers, hard workers, right? I talk about this all the time, but the reason why I repeat it is because we have to understand these younger generations and what they're actually doing. And there is actually, if I could find this here, a video out there of this young girl. She was on X bragging that she helped vote in Mamami, or whatever his name is. And she is saying, oh, my boomer parents must be pissed as all hell because he's in there now and they're not going to be able to handle it. And they don't even know what a communist is or a socialist or anything is. All they know is free, 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 right? And let's see, where was I going with this here? I was trying to bring up something else. Just bear with me 1 second. Let's bear with me here. I think I could go this way. Let's see what happens. So this is what we have going on. All right, what else do we have going on out there? Amy Boyd is in the house. Amy, how are you doing? I'm actually going to switch screens over here so I can look at you. And that he says, hey, I've got a lot going on. Can't stay in chat. Thanks for jumping in here. Amy, stay strong. Yeah, transform your energy. We are the champions. Yeah, thank you so much. And Cheryl is, they have no clue. They have no clue what the hell is going on out there. I'm going to try to, hey, got anybody out on Rumble? I don't see anybody out on Rumble. And I didn't really advertise this. I always just pop in. And if you guys are happening to be flipping through your YouTube channel and you see me live, thank you so much for being here. So let's see, where else can I go with this? So I was talking about the retirement, and I also want to talk about, just give me 1 second. I want to find my notes on its multi-general dynamics when I talk about multiple generations, right? And that's really where we come into play. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this. And so let me just see if I can get up to, let's see here. So, okay, let me just go back to this and just drag. I'm having a hard time seeing. And I don't have my glasses on. I can't see that far away, so it's not going to do me any good. All right, let's see. Go up to the top here. All right. So when we talk about these other generations, so how the students' depth impacted their emotional well-being, we have to understand this. So if you're a grandma, right, and your daughter is pretty much like a chip off the old block like you, but then you take a look at the grandkids, right, and you're just like, wow, they're what they believe and what they see is, it seems like you're miles apart from the grandchildren's beliefs, whether grandchildren are young or they're teenagers or they're college, whatever it is. But the student debt crisis is a $1.7 trillion billion, okay? And it did shape the emotional and psychological millennials. I'm telling you, they were born from like 1981 to 1996. And then the Generation G that was born, Z, I should say, that was born in 1997 to 2012. So these generations do stem from crisis, and we have to really get that, because the student debt impact their emotional well-being. It really did. So there are studies out there that have actually been done on this, shows that like 60% of the student loans borrowed, they reported anxiety to the debt. So if you have that much anxiety, I did not go the traditional way of the college. I went certification, which is kind of equivalent to what we're saying people need to do is get out and do these blue collar jobs, these trades. I kind of did it my way, if you will. And I hear my way, right? With Frank Sinatra in my head. But the way that I did it is I went to college to get educated enough in the computer systems, right? But then I started out with these cards, right? And I key punch cards, right? I was there at the tail end of it. They got rid of them. They brought in these personal computers, and I started to understand. I got a job working with personal computers and software. I didn't even know what software and hardware was. I'm learning as evolution is bringing this into the baby boomer time, right? And so then when I get into college, I take a couple more classes. I get enough in there. I'm like, I got enough of this knowledge. I need to work. I need to be able to support myself. I want my own place, right? I'm 22 years old. I don't want to live at home anymore. So what do? Is I get into a company. I look up the companies. Now I'm doing this all on my own. Nobody taught me. There was no handbook for this. My parents didn't. They were busy being, trying to keep the roof over our heads and everything like that. I figured this out. And so basically what I did is I look up the companies and I'd see what they were doing. What was the latest technology? I was always this pioneer wanting to be on the forefront of it. I'd go and I send my resume out. I try to make up a resume that sounded really good. Obviously, I didn't have enough experience. And I go knocking on the doors and I'd say, let me in. Just let me in. You could pay me. One job, I actually went backwards to $10,000 in salary because I knew I was going to be able to move ahead. I moved ahead so far after like a couple of years, people didn't believe that I was doing this all on my own. The kids can't think like that. They can't figure this out. All that they know is that they get into these colleges, they got brainwashed, and they didn't quite understand how things worked in the world, and they still don't. So these studies that I'm actually reading, the stress and the emotional exhaustion that is brought upon them, it basically reduces their capacity for outward empathy. Think about this. How many of you can actually relate to maybe your kids or your grandkids that don't have the empathy that you believe that you have as an individual, and you focus on your survival? The millennials with $50,000 in debt might prioritize a financial stability over engaging in emotional and demanding social interaction. What does that mean? They don't want anything to do with anybody unless it's on a computer. That's where I'm kind of going with this. Let's see what else we have out there. I'm just going to, hey, we've got Rumble. We got some Rumble out here. We got Kelly says, I'm here. TCME. We are here. In YouTube is not the place. Big kids are on the Rumble. So we got Rumble against YouTube. Okay, YouTube, what are you going to say about that? So we got TCME says, I've never done much on it except the music videos. Okay. So let's kind of talk a little bit more about their mental health, because if you are a boomer and you're following me, and you might not be a boomer, you just might be following me because you just happen to click on me and see what the hell I'm all about, right? So this 2025 study from the National Institute of Health, right? You've got to find your study somewhere, and you might say, oh, this is just like whatever. But there's insomnia, there's burnout, there's social withdrawals among the millennials, and I've seen it. I have seen it with nieces and nephews. And so this Gen Z, I already gave you the year. So the Gen Z is about 40% of the borrowers report feeling hopeless about a payment, especially post-COVID. So we have to understand, at least to have a little bit of understanding where they're coming from. We're witnessing something that they've gone through that we have not had to go through. I have seen my grandparents now that kind of went from the Depression time to being still carrying those energies from the Depression. I remember my grandmother saving rubber bands around doorknobs, aluminum foil, because back in their time, they had to save up that kind of stuff because they probably wouldn't get it again, or the war needed those supplies and they knew that was going to be lacking. So it was like hoard, right? Moving forward, I'm going to jump back to these kids today. They're delaying their life milestones. So the debt delays family formation. And what does that basically mean is that there are limited opportunities to develop the empathetic roles like parenting or caregiving. So in the 1960s, boomers married and bought homes early because they could afford it, right? And and then you've got Hollywood. I'm going to throw fucking Hollywood into there that basically said go to every other country and adopt a kid. But they were telling them that they couldn't afford to have their own child, which I don't understand. All right. But the younger generation may seem less empathetic because they are navigating they're prolonging their adulthood. Have you ever seen somebody like, probably in their 30s are still emotionally young, if I could say it that way? And so they basically focus on their individual survival rather than the communal roles. Now, let me just kind of throw in an example of the lack of empathy, right? So it's almost like to the point where one of them generational kids may need your help, but you basically, you're not. They're more excitable, right? They're more edgy. They put you on edge. Some of them do, some of them don't. And the ones that didn't go through to the colleges are the ones that are actually having the families and are surviving, kind of like they're basically repeating what we've always have done here. But the difference in the empathy and across generations are all around the debt crisis. Okay, so you've got the millennials and the Gen Z's perspective. So the younger generation often channels empathy into stuff like, I got empathy for climate change, or I want social justice, so I am going to vote for a mayor who talks about not you don't pay rent, you don't pay taxes, free food, go down to the bodash, or I call it a little grocery store. I don't know where they're coming up with this stuff, but they amplify more of that kind of thing. Then that's where their empathy is at, and it's not with humanity. How am I doing, you guys? Am I doing okay right here? Let's see. I'm going to kind of go back, take a break. Let's see here. We have Amy is got another comment. Generation of trauma drama. Yes, break your pattern. We've got to break it, and they don't realize it though. But we are kind of seeing that. And I decided I need more information. I would need to know what's going on. I'm not in touch. I don't have any kids. I don't have any grandkids. But I hear from readings and people getting in touch with me, and I see it myself within my own family. What happens is that us that are in the light, we can sense it. We can feel it. We know it. We can't put our finger on it. And I'm here to kind of explain this to you. Amy says it is still save rubber bands and ties. Oh, she's still saying that. Okay. Buckshot, nothing is free, and it's usually ain't a good thing. Now, Buck, you're from that area. Your family is from that area. You have some of the family members still back there. Holy moly, Buck, they're going to be coming down to live by you real soon. So let's see here. What else do we have? I'm going to go back to my Rumble. Buck's out there. Hey, good to see you out there too, Buck. All right, so that's where I'm kind of going with this. And I know that I talk a lot about this, but we have to care. Somebody's got to understand. We can't just close the door on them. All we could do is just say is that we see this, we kind of understand it. We don't really get it, but this is what they're projecting onto other human beings is their anxiety and whatever else it might be. But it's just basically a cultural shift is where I'm kind of going with this. So the debt crisis pushes the younger generation toward prioritizing financial security. I have to say, I was taught by my parents to keep a roof over your head, get a savings goal, pay your bills, don't get crazy with credit cards, try to, balance it out. That's all that I was told. 50% of the Gen Z report hustle culture pressure from 2025. What the hell is that? It's leading to transactional interaction that they feel less empathetic. Transactional, let me see if I can say that again. Transactional interaction. Say what? So, social media amplifies this on X. All right. And they are venting about their debt, so on and so forth. And I was going to get over to X, but apparently, I think I've got to open up one other browser here. Who says, oh, TCME says you're doing great, Janine. Thank you. Thank you, TCME. All right, let's see what else we have going on. I am actually going to go to X. There's a video out there that I want to play for you guys. And you know what? At first, I had a knee-jerk reaction, which we all do when we first see something. And then we really got to sit back and kind of take a look at it and ponder it a little bit, right? And let me just kind of move this over here. And all right, so, I'm actually going to just go to the bookmarks. Oops, it's not the bookmarks. All right. All right, 1 second here. So, does a debt define their emotional state? What do you guys think? Put it in there, put it in the chat, kind of get more interactive with me on here. And what is this crap? I don't know what this is doing here. All right, let me just kind of go back. Bookmarks. I'm saying bookmarks. Okay. All right, so let me just kind of show a few things out here. Sorry, I'm kind of backwards here with my screens today. All right, 1 second, you guys. I've gotten really confused here. I thought I lost. Are you guys still with me? There I am. Okay. I have one too many screens open. Where's my producers? All right, let's see here. I want to share a screen. Just bear with me, you guys. I'm trying to get this thing going. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, Buck. All right, so this is what we have here. So first thing I want to kind of talk about, I'm going to go through some of these there's random things that are happening out on X. And I know a lot of people don't follow it, but this is at some point. Let's just see what we have here. So this is the what they're actually. So this is kind of fun stuff, right? So a Jewish socialist, a Muslim socialist, and a Latino socialist walk into the bar. Who's paying the bill? We got to laugh at this stuff, you guys. I'm serious. All right, so let's see here. What else that we have? Yeah, it is something else. Here's some more stuff here for you guys. This is people. This one's coming from Weaver. So the cockroaches in Florida are really, really big. People of New York, do not come down here. Do not come down here. And this is how serious it is. Coming soon. Escape from New York. We've seen that movie. And then this one here really got to me. I thought, I love this one here. So if you take a look at this is the map of the United States. They drew the map for all of New Yorkers looking to migrate to Florida. They moved Florida to Canada. All right. And, we have to laugh at this. We really do, you guys. Let's see what else we have out here. I'm actually, there was a lot of serious stuff. I'm actually looking for this one particular girl. Oh, this one. Is this fake or real? You guys tell me, because I was not happy seeing this here. I'm not going to play the sound. But I don't know if this is real or not. So, Buck, you're real good with AI stuff. I think when I researched this actually happened at another time. This didn't happen in New York more recently. I think this is what I found out. But still, they're playing this now. Yeah, they are definitely playing it now. All right, let's see what else we have out here. That's heartbreaking. It always is heartbreaking. They want to come into our country. They want to leave their country because it's so bad, but then they come into our country to make it bad. Where's the insanity in that? All right, let's see here. All right, so this, if you're out on X, this happens to be the video that I talked about with Tucker going after Lindsay. It's really good. They break it down in minutes. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, just go to the minutes where he's saying the most important stuff. Unfortunately, if you guys are in Michigan, I think this guy was from Michigan. He lost. New Yorker pays $4,500 for a 200 square foot apartment, getting woken up by 5 a.m., call to prayer for the next year. Ugh. All right. Let's see what else we have. I'm still trying to find that one woman. I love this one is cute here. I don't think we want, now that we know what we know about the Statue of Liberty, I don't think we want it. Let it stay in New York. All right, let's see what else we have here. I must have bypassed the story about the woman. I thought I saved it. Anyways, it was the Gen Z or Millennium girls that were actually out there. They were basically saying that they're the boomers. The parents are really pissed off because they helped vote this guy in. They'll find out. Lessons learned, right? All right, I want to play this just as something a little bit. It's kind of nice. It's cute. Have you guys seen these out there about the dogs? I love this. I love it. If this doesn't warm your heart, I don't know what will. I can't keep going on talking about the funny negative things without always showing a dog or a cat or something in there that is makes more sense to me. I actually saw a meme this morning that said wouldn't it be really great that if the dogs can like take their owners when they're done with them, because there's a lot of owners out there that are not really good to dogs, and just leave them off on the side of the road. I love it. Yeah, Amy says, yeah, I watch these kind of videos all day long. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about um, understanding that generation, why they're these kids, because we do have to understand it. It's not like we're going to agree with it, but we probably should understand it at some point, right? Let's see what else we have out here. What is going on in Rumble? Let me just kind of see what we have out on Rumble out here. And it's saying, "Hey Rumble, how you doing?" Yeah, Kelly is out there saying the world is full of idiots. Fact. Yeah, and also too, TCME says we got to remember actors are going to act. And let's see what else we have here. Uh, yeah, so that's basically it. Thank you guys out on Rumble Rant for your information, and you guys keep putting some more stuff out there. So this is kind of like what I kind of wanted to go with this stuff. I did pull some cards earlier with the shifting of everything that is actually going on, and it's almost like just a quick reading for you guys. If anybody wants a reading, if you're struggling with one of your Gen Z, millennials, XYZs, whatever it is, let me know and see if I can help you out. I had somebody contacted me once before the last time I did these readings, and they were really, and it kind of gave me the idea about this is that they were really struggling with communication with a family member. And, you basically keep trying and trying and trying. And so my thought was stop trying, and if for even for me, I have to be able to tap into the energies. I can feel it, but I may not always understand it. But now that I've kind of did a little bit of this research, we can kind of see where they're coming from. It's we have all had anxiety. We have all had stress. The vibration and the frequency of these other generational kids are a little bit different. It's almost to the point where we recognize it, but we don't recognize it. If you guys know what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up on this because, it's going to continue. So the next generation of kids that are born is how do I put this? I was listening to Rick on astrology, um, and he was saying the way that these planets are being lined up right now. Um, of course, until no one has these signs in their astrology chart because they haven't been born. But if they were born yesterday, you think that we're having trouble with this generation, the last generation, the millennials are in their 30s. They're going to get it sooner or later. They're going to realize, their journey. Right now, they've kind of went through the emotional roller coaster of COVID, housing boom, schools, all that other stuff, but they're going to get it. But the next generation after them that will be born, I think they said Taurus is in Uranus, and I'm not sure how that plays out. I'm not an expert on it, but if anybody is or wants to come on, please do. All right, I'm going to, before I pull these cards here and do a collective consciousness reading here for everybody, I just want to make an announcement. On Sunday, I'm going to have Dina jump on. She is works. She's basically is she married to Jason Q? I don't know. We're going to find out though. If she's a girlfriend of Jason Q. But I want to really find out. She's taken this roller coaster ride with him, so we're going to interview her. But she's got a whole spiritual side that she said to me that is a different perspective of the way other people see it. So stay tuned for that. Then somebody did reach out to me and said, hey, you did an interview a long time ago with Laura Van Trine. Why don't you bring her back? So I'm going to, the following Sunday, because I do these on Sunday out on Rumble, I'm going to bring her back. And I had to go back and find the video where the last one that I did, I thought, oh my God, I have changed so much. And, whether you want to say that I jump in realities or I'm in and out of realities or whatever it might be, time jumps, the Schumer resonance, whatever. Nobody is looking the same that they did 2 years ago. And I don't think that I've seen such a progression change within people. Do you guys agree with that? Are you seeing that people are either aging really quickly or something is different about them? Let me know what you guys think. Let's see here. Colleen has a statement. I am going to let's move this over here. Yeah, Kelly is basically, I'm going to jump over to Rumble Rant and read this one first because I do a lot from YouTube. So Kelly is saying these people that are out there complaining about I think it's the EBD cards, they're not having anything to eat really, need to get their heads checked in a job. I'm agreeing with Kelly on that 100%. I've never seen so much wackadoodle in my entire life. And this goes into the last administration and the Obama administration before that, because they came out with these promises. You're not going to have to pay for your school. Then all of a sudden, you're going to have to pay for your school. They stopped paying on stuff. Now I've witnessed this within my own family where they're like, I don't know if I should make a payment for the school or if I should buy food. A little of each goes a long way. You've got a long life ahead of you. That's all that I could say to you guys. Colleen is saying over here, personally, I could talk to my kids, niece, and nephews more than their parents. She's got a connection there with the kids because so this is interesting. Colleen is saying that she's having a hard time not relating, but more or less communicating with the parents. So the parents obviously have shut down in some ways, or just very stuck and stubborn in other ways, where I could see Colleen being more open and wanting to communicate with the younger generation. And maybe the younger generation feels more comfortable talking to her. What is it that Colleen has? She has a light. Okay. And these younger kids can see those lights. They might not agree with everything that you're saying, but they need to be around somebody that is really spiritual, and they're getting that. Maybe they're actually asking for spiritual guidance on another level. Maybe they're doing this in another reality when they're sleeping. I'm telling you, you guys, if you follow True Lens and not the turn the page or the TTP Coastal, because I don't put those short memes out there. But on True Lens, I'm required by YouTube to do 3 videos a day. That's why you see 3 of my short clips out there, and praying with the hands and doing a prayer. And at first I did it because I said, oh, okay, more people like want to see this. Then I started seeing their messages in there. They are all looking for the light. And however you define light is up to you. But we have been practicing this as much as that we possibly can, to the point that we're going to be attracting a lot more people, whether it's a neighbor, whether you're down at a community, whether it's whatever it is that you're doing, because people they need this. There's been so much darkness lately. So we got Pelosi is out, darkness is gone. And there's been a lot of other ones, but they've been gone for a while. But if you're one of these that believe that they've already been gone and been taken care of, and they've been in Gitmo, and they've been, already tried for treason, that's fine. But when they put them back into the television, that energy is still there. You got to understand how the energies and the frequencies work. They might not be as strong and as powerful, but it's still there. Now that we just plucked out, who's the guy that just died? They said he died yesterday. I can't think of his name. That energy is gone, right? It's probably been gone. I can't think of his name. You guys help me out there. I appreciate it. Okay, so Cheney. I think it's Cheney, right? I think that's what it was. His name was so Liz Cheney is still got her energy in it, but I actually think she's been gone. Doesn't even look like her as far as I'm concerned. Dick Cheney, thank you, Buckshot. Yeah, so he's dead, right? It happened on 11/3. You guys recall 11.3, and then there was 11.4, which was all the elections. So the next big thing is 11.4. We're going to see that movie rolled out, that episode. So that's all that this is. This is a soap opera, and each episode, there's a series, and then there's episodes within these series of this movie. Okay, so this is where we're headed. Thank you, Charlene. Everybody's saying Dick, Dick, Dick. All right, Buck, have a great day. Everybody have a blessed day. Everybody just send lots of love to Buckshot, and I think Amy Boyd too. I think she might be gone, but yeah. And you guys just all pretty much just send blessings to everybody each and every day, because it's a powerful feeling. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do this, and then I will depart my ways with you also. So let's just see what we have. This is just what is going on in the energies. Some, like the last time I got some stuff and I didn't hold back. And then after I did the reading, I said, wow, why did I go there? But then I was able to turn on the news and actually see it validated for me. It's not that I need to get things validated, but sometimes when we're talking about the current events, I like to see it being played out. All right, let's see what we have here. TCME says, love you all. Aw, and everyone, Kelly's out there. Boy, I'm telling you, YouTube, Rumble's making you look really bad right now. They're sharing the love over there. All right, let's see what we got here. I've only got 5 people. That's what it's showing me on YouTube. So you know how that goes. I still am suppressed, and I don't know why. Only when I do my lives. All right, so this is the, what's going on? All right, let's see. What do we need to hear? All right, so the first card that I'm actually flipping over is, all right, so everybody's ego is kind of coming down right now at this time. And this is what I'm kind of seeing. It's like it's not going to be, we're not going to have to be in that safe mode. And that's where the ego comes in, where we ease God out is why we have that ego. And so I'm also seeing a lot of other things too, is that the veil is very thin for some reason here. We are kind of looking at a lot with more communication and things that are coming out. There's a 22. And whenever there's like to me, 22 is a powerful number, and it's around the communication. So we're going to be getting a lot more stuff So when we actually have Pelosi that is gone, Pelosi was the House of Representatives. It was communications, right? She withheld a lot of things. I think now we're going to find out. I think it's almost going to be reversed with, our wishes are going to be fulfilled, and we're going to see a lot more things that were hidden behind the scenes. Why do they need to release that episode about her stepping down? Is because I think that there's another player coming in, and we're going to see that real soon. So let me carry on here. And yeah, they're basically just letting us know. Oh, I see. This is interesting here. Um, I honestly do believe that the level of consciousness is going to be more towards a spiritual thing. So if you're more religious, if you're not religious, if you're just more like, I believe in Buddha, whatever it might be, whatever it is going on, I think everyone's going to be tapping into this. Probably, I'm not getting like a time on here at all or anything like that, but I just think that our will and our wisdom are at this point that we start to see things. Changes are coming very rapidly, is what they're basically telling me right here. So the sands of times is what they're showing me with the communication, but definitely aren't at the point. If you're still not trusting yourself and your own intuition, let me just put it this way, you have to just keep doing a reminder that there's something more powerful, whether it's the universe, whether it's creator, whatever it is that you're thinking of, if it's God, if it's Jesus, just make sure that you call on it more rapidly for the next week and a half is what they just kind of showed me right now. So for whatever reason, there might be something that's coming up where the energies are going to shift quite a bit. So let's see here. The last card is what I started out with. It's the 5 of the keys. So the 5 of the keys are the wishes fulfilled and what we keep near and dear. So that basically means with Pelosi going out, with this, I'm going to tie this back to her because that's a card that I got when I first flipped it from her, is that we're going to be able, those keys that they kept very close to their heart, somebody's going to unlock all that information, and what it's going to do for the United States, time will tell. I'm not getting what that is right now. But I will tell you this, it's going to be around the more children. I just got that card twice. It's going to be about the loving elements. So all I want to say to each and every one of you is go with God, let go, and blessings to each and every one of you. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I appreciate you being here. Bye now. Love you all.